Gordon Ramsay makes his return to California, this time to Ventura Boulevard in Sherman Oaks, home to Frite, a bistro owned by French immigrant Andre Ramillion. Opened in 1972, it enjoyed many years of success early on. Andre's son Alex later became co-owner, with the goal of continuing the restaurant's success. However, things are not what they used to be at the restaurant. Numbers are down to a third of what they were previously doing. Alex, though, is resistant to any change.
Yeah, it's slowing down, but why do we need to change things when it has been working for such and such amount of years?
Tensions really began to boil 2 years prior to the episode when Alex's sister, Celine, joined in on the family business. Celine has a very different opinion about how the restaurant should be run. She thinks the biggest problem with the restaurant is the quality of the food, which has slipped under both Alex's direction, but also due to the chef Martine. Martine won't take criticism from anyone, especially Celine. In fact, he refuses to even listen to Celine, who feels she is being treated unfairly because she is a woman. Celine also feels there are many problems at the restaurant that are being ignored by her brother, leading to tension between the siblings.
I know my brother's not happy that I'm here. I know he wishes that he could just keep going the way he was going.
Alex resents Celine and didn't even want her there in the first place. This has damaged their relationship in a massive way. It has also meant that their father, Andre, has to be a sort of buffer between the two.
I don't hate Alex.
He hates you.
I know he does.
If the siblings don't find a way to get along and make things work, Frite may as well shut down after 40 years. Will Chef Ramsay be able to help turn things around for the bistro? And perhaps save the family at the same time? Before Gordon can enter Frite, Andre has requested a private, one-on-one meeting with him. Andre goes to one of Chef Ramsay's own restaurants in the area to meet with him. When he meets the Michelin-starred chef in his very own kitchen, the 69-year-old tells Ramsay he would like to pass the torch on to his children, to let them run the restaurant so he can retire. Unfortunately, the conflict of personality between the kids is getting in the way of that. With that knowledge, Gordon arrives and is greeted by the manager, Gail, who has worked there for 20 years. But what really grabs his attention is a dessert case right in the middle of the restaurant. It turns out it's been there as long as Gail has, and that may even include the desserts inside. Even worse is the fact that the customers have to hear the motor in the fridge if they are seated next to it. And Gordon is seated right next to it. Gordon meets Andre and Celine, with the latter taking his order. The first dish Gordon tries is the Frite salad, which looks decent enough. The taste? Not so much, as it's bland and too acidic. Gordon is astounded to see Celine unsurprised by all of this. Celine says head chef Martine brushes off the feedback from her because she is a woman.
He has an issue taking anything from a female.
Is this chauvinistic stance?
Yes, some of it.
It's absurd.
Next up is the seafood crepe, and it looks more like a pie than a traditional crepe. He takes a bite and spits it out immediately. It's cold on the sides, and therefore he orders Celine to take it back to the kitchen. Martine once again takes the feedback poorly and dishes out the quiche Lorraine. Gordon notices that it's steaming hot and asks Gail to check with Martine if it's been microwaved.
Hasn't seen the microwave.
No.
Martine flat out denies it has seen the microwave. The problem with lying? You're doing it to someone with the experience of Chef Ramsay, and he's not buying it at all. Gordon finally meets Martine and gives it to him straight. Everything he's cooked has been a disaster from the start. As for the quiche, Martine continues to deny it was put in the microwave. He later conveniently changes his story, stating it was in the microwave first and then the oven. But more than anything, Gordon is amazed at how carefree and laid back Martine is, all while cooking some horrendous food. Gordon confronts Martine about whether it's the fact that he dislikes Celine that explains why he doesn't care. Martine denies this, but does bring up his annoyance at how she attacks him and says he's been there for too long. Gordon thinks it may well be the case, and Martine takes a dramatic exit as if he quit. Gordon meets him alone in the kitchen and urges him to talk. Martine expresses his frustration at all the stress he has to deal with while working with Celine. He even claims Alex runs away from her because she's so hard to deal with. For now, Gordon has heard his side, but wants to see how he does during the dinner service. Half an hour before the dinner service, Alex arrives and asks for an update.
Gordon didn't make me cry. He was actually nice to me.
Uh-huh. That's nice.
No surprise there. We know how well Gordon always gets on with the slightly more mature female staff members at these places. When it comes to the management, that is another story. Sitting down with Alex for a frank talk, he hears from him that he and Celine work separate nights. When asked what the real problem is with his sister, Alex believes it's all about control. He then shocks Gordon when he states he doesn't want Celine there. As for the restaurant's problems, Alex doesn't think much needs to be changed other than maybe the bathrooms. That doesn't go down well with Gordon.
I'm not here to make you look stupid.
Right.
But you're sounding ridiculous. Let me ask you again. What the fuck's wrong with the restaurant?
Despite those words, Alex still believes there's nothing majorly wrong. Dinner service should be fun. The customers come flocking in thanks to Chef Ramsay's presence, but the problems are already evident in the kitchen. Martine is only seasoning the meat after Gordon asks him about it. He continues to ignore Celine whenever she speaks to him. When Gordon spots an overcooked quiche, Martine ignores it and says one more is coming up, while Alex just walks away. Taking criticism is clearly not his strong suit. Gordon asks Alex if he's given up, but Alex nonchalantly denies this and proceeds to walk away again. Chef Ramsay has a lot on his plate this time. Meanwhile, the complaints about the food come in. Gordon lets Alex know about it, only to be given a sarcastic thank you. Gordon is shocked and asks Celine if he's always like this. The answer is unsurprising. The siblings clash soon after, and Gordon warns Alex that he needs to get a grip. An emotional Celine heads to the parking lot while Gordon gets stern with Alex.
Don't bully your sister, bully me.
I'm not bullying anybody, Gordon.
He denies bullying anyone, and even boldly states he is taking responsibility. Gordon, though, is fed up with his attitude. Gail consoles Celine. Celine, however, feels that Alex will hate her even more, especially as bringing Gordon in was her idea. Gordon tells Celine to call Andre back urgently, and he is on his way. Andre arrives, and Gordon tells him all about Alex's horrible attitude, and how the restaurant is suffering as a result. Andre is sympathetic to Celine's situation, but unsurprised.
He hates her being anywhere near him in the restaurant.
Andre asks for a solution, to which Gordon responds that he needs to help himself first. The sun shines on a new day in California, and it's time for Gordon to play psychiatrist again. He has Andre seated in the kitchen to hear a conversation between himself and Celine, who is seated outside. Gordon asks Celine what caused her relationship with Alex to reach this point. Celine believes it's due to communication issues, and Alex resenting her for invading his world. She also believes part of the resentment is Alex thinking Andre loves Celine more than him. As Andre watches, Alex enters and sits down with Gordon and Celine. Celine repeats what she said, this time to Alex. Alex opens up on how he felt the restaurant was going to be given to Celine. He still feels like he doesn't belong, which is why he put a wall between himself and Celine. All three family members shed tears, as Celine assures Alex they're in this together, and she has no desire to hurt him. Alex finally realizes that he and his sister have to work together. They hug each other and reminisce about how close they used to be. Gordon brings out an emotional Andre who hugs his kids. He takes charge and states how every decision has to be made by all three of them. There is finally some communication, and it looks like a major breakthrough has been made. Meanwhile, Gordon is beginning to implement some changes to Frite, starting with the dessert fridge being removed. Instead, it will be replaced with a contemporary crepe station. In addition to his front-of-house duties, Alex will be supervising the crepe station with the help of Gail. Celine will be expediting things in the kitchen while working alongside Martine. The Ramillion family made up, but we still don't know if Martine will get along with Celine, or cook better for that matter. As the orders come in, we get our answer. The kitchen is struggling to get orders out, mainly because Martine is doing a subpar job. Once again, Gordon asks him to start carrying. The dishes that do get served are returned in droves. Gordon urges Celine to take charge, but Martine continues to ignore her. The only positive of the night is that the crepes are a hit with the customers, and Alex is virtually a new man. He's even smiling. But for Frite to survive, the kitchen has to do well. That means some major changes will be required. It's time for the Kitchen Nightmares makeover, as the family and Gail are welcomed to a brand new Le Frite the next day. The previous yellow interior is no more. It's now replaced with a contemporary French bistro vibe. There's also custom artwork on the wall. But that's not all. Gordon has modified and cut down the menu. He's also brought in Chef Chewy, who has over 15 years of experience in French bistros. He will oversee things in the kitchen as well as train Martine and the rest of the staff. It's time for the relaunch night, and it's a chance for Martine to redeem himself. Things get off to a good start as the appetizers head out quickly and receive rave reviews from customers. But once again, problems emerge when Martine continues to ignore Celine, even when being told not to by Gordon. The entrees are not being served, and some customers end up leaving after waiting for 90 minutes. Gordon pleads with Celine to take charge. She gets Chewy to take control of the kitchen, and unlike Martine, he actually communicates with her. In no time, the entrees finally get served. The customers are happy, and the night ends on a high note. There were positives, but Gordon stresses to the family once more that changes are still needed. For now, at least, the Ramillion family is united and have something to build on. We learn that in the days that followed, Chef Chewy was hired full-time as an executive chef and was building a strong team. Alex and Celine continued to work well together, and spirits seemed high. Will that remain the case in the future, though? The original episode was filmed in January 2011 and aired in April 2011 as the 11th episode of the 4th season of Kitchen Nightmares. Don't really know what to think, but it's finally here, is how Alex described the experience of filming the Kitchen Nightmares episode on Facebook at the time. Regarding the other problems the Frite had, Gordon seemed to have fixed many of them. Or did he? Reviews weren't all great post-Kitchen Nightmares. This longtime customer said Gordon Ramsay's changes yielded mixed results. Some menu favorites were lost, such as the French onion soup, while food quality varied depending on who was cooking it, citing the quiche Lorraine as an example. He also noted the same negatives when it came to the customer service, or lack of. A customer who had been a fan of the restaurant since the 80s said she missed the old decor and ambience of the place that made it so special back in the day. She felt the retro-style artwork on the walls put in place by Chef Ramsay's team looked like they were trying too hard to be edgy, and that the decor choices that were trying too hard to be chic cheapened the presentation. That said, there were also many positive reviews. One reviewer said Le Frite had never been better, with a special mention for the dog-friendly patio. The patio seemed to be a hit, especially as Le Frite provided furry guests with water and a special grilled chicken breast. In a special episode, Gordon revisited Le Frite approximately 7 months after filming of the initial episode in August 2011, as announced once again by Alex on his Facebook. Ramsay is greeted at the door by a much happier Celine. She reveals that there were some changes, including some classics being brought back, but overall, things were going great. Most of all, Alex and Andre are still listening to her with no more fighting. Gordon meets an equally happy Alex and gets seated with Andre and Celine to try out the food. Unlike last time, Gordon is a very happy customer this time around, with dishes like the quiche and crepe being cooked much better. After some small talk, Gordon says his goodbyes and departs with a lot more optimism than when he first arrived at the bistro. But what's happened to everyone since? And is the restaurant still in business today? And how did fans react to the episode? On YouTube, most comments were unsurprisingly sympathetic to Celine and how she was mistreated. Many criticized both Andre and Alex, while others couldn't figure out why Martine wasn't fired. Gordon not roasting Martine more seemed like a huge missed opportunity, especially as many believe he may be the chef with the worst attitude ever. Business continued to improve at Le Frite, as it lasted a good number of years following Kitchen Nightmares. Overall, Le Frite had a respectable rating of 3.7 on Yelp from 545 reviews and 4.1 stars on Google. However, in 2016, Le Frite was sold to a new owner, George Zaoui. Interestingly, Le Frite had another location in Woodland Hills, which shut down in December 2012. The new owner kept the Le Frite name in the Sherman Oaks location for a year, before eventually switching to Italian cuisine in October 2017. The new name was Modo Mia, officially marking the end of the Le Frite era. For what it's worth, the decision seemed to have paid dividends, as the Italian food was a hit with customers, even those who missed La Frite. But despite a stellar 4.4 rating on Yelp, Moto Mia would close its doors in 2021. So that begs the question, what has the family been up to since? Before that, I know what some of you are thinking. What about Martine? Did he get fired or continue working at La Frite? Turns out there's next to no information about him at all. Nor is there much about Gail, either. As for Alex, according to his LinkedIn, in 2013 he started La Frite Express, a gourmet food truck for the bistro. He had the truck until 2014 when he shifted from owner-operator back to a more traditional career path in the restaurant industry, joining the Ruth Chris Steakhouse chain. Around that same time, he also began work at Fantasy Yachts and Yacht Club, a position he continues to hold to this day. A Facebook post from 2019 shows him appearing to be in good spirits. Celine, on the other hand, remained the owner of La Frite until it was sold in 2016, as per her LinkedIn. She would later work as a general manager for Jimmy's Famous American Tavern from 2016 to 2018. Her last job listed was as general manager for Grill Concepts in Los Angeles from 2018 to 2019. As per her Facebook, though, she currently works as a general manager for Mulholland Tennis Club since 2019. She also began work at Granville Cafe in March 2023. She enjoys posting family pics on social media, and is quite active on her TikTok account in particular lately.
Yeah, you like my outfit, don't even fake the deal. Always in my face, talking this and that.
As for the one who started it all in Andre, he hasn't been as active on social media. But from the few pictures we have seen of him and Celine together, he also appears to be doing well. Celine has posted a lot of throwback pics online, including from the old days at the restaurant. Most importantly, by the looks of it, her and Alex are happy siblings again, which is important to her because she said in the episode that they were quite close when they were younger, only having drifted apart because of the conflicting professional opinions regarding how La Frite should be run. It is unfortunate that La Frite is no longer with us. It had a good run though for many decades. I do hope things continue to go well for the entire Ramillion family.